Yeah, when did you find out that Kobe could go? Because Thursday he wasn't.
Yeah, Thursday, I didn't know on Thursday. Wednesday, he did not look like he could go. He was in a, whatever, I don't know if it was a sling or something. And then Thursday he practiced some, and then Friday he practiced full. So, he was able to go. He obviously, didn't look like himself, but he went. I told the guys in there, I thought Joe's minutes and Larry's minutes were significant for us. We don't win without Josiah, without Larry, because, Kobe didn't look like himself. Amari obviously, struggled. That's, typical of freshman, but Joe came in, played great. I thought Larry gave us really good minutes off the bench.
You've talked about Kalu and his being the best offensive rebounder on the team. He obviously showed some of that tonight. He also is, seems like he's a deceptively good passer. Led the team in assists tonight and have created some good plays. Is that something that you've seen a lot in practice?
No, and I've not. He usually turns it over, so I was glad he did not do that. I've not seen that a lot. Normally, I just look away when he passes. But he did make some nice plays tonight. He really did. He had 5 assists. He only had 1 turnover, and it was a play where he should have gone uphill, and he tried to, drive it and dribble the ball out of bounds. But he played great. He was fantastic. He was terrific on the glass. He battled. His possession there with like a minute 50 to go where he gets, offensive rebounds. We were able to bleed the clock to under a minute. They go to the monitor. We run a, out of bounds play against the zone and Gibb bangs a 3. I mean, that was the biggest plays of the game. That was the biggest, stretch of the game to get over the finish line. So Kalu was awesome. Played really well. It was good to see it. He switched a ton. He guarded, everybody on the floor. We can switch him on anybody. He's got the versatility. Thought he did a good job in the post. Thought he was unbelievable on the glass. He was fantastic tonight. He converts some free throws and some plays around the rim. He's got a 20 and 13 game, and I think as he gets more comfortable, he'll be doing that. But the passing was terrific. He made a couple really good plays. I was really proud of him.
Speaking of Kalu's defense, you seemed like he was not playing the same drop and was switching a lot more than they were even in the Avila game. Considering he wasn't completely healthy this week, how tricky was it to implement a slightly different change for your 5-man on defense in just 4 days?
Yeah, I mean, we've worked on it. I mean, I think, going out of the, the runway to get ready for the season is so long. So we've spent time like we kind of tonight, we vacillated, toggled between, we put Swope through and switched everybody else. And there was times where we had 2 guys through and we switched the other 3. And then there was times where we didn't switch anybody and we just kept our matchups the whole possession. And tried not to switch anything and then play, a show on Porter's ball screens if we weren't switching. So they, I think we've had so much practice time. Like they know how to kind of, in game, all right, we're 14, we're 13, we're 55, we're through everything. They can toggle between those pretty easily. So coming out, the game plan was to switch everybody but Swope early and try to limit Porter's, pick and pop threes. It's what he's so good at, and pick and pop ISOs. He was averaging, 20, and so I mean, like we want to take that away from them. We felt switching was the best, and just put Swope through on a guy that doesn't use many ball screens on Amy. But Amy hurt us, and then we had to wind up. Swope took Johnston, and like I said, Johnston. I thought he was, he was probably the best player on the floor. He was really hard to guard, made threes, and got in the lane, and really, was a lot difficult for us to guard. So, but overall, they were able to execute it, and I thought, again, that goes back to what we were able to do in the preseason, getting ready for the year. You want to have as few holes as possible, the stuff you haven't seen, and they knew what to do, which was good.
Josh, Isaiah can handle the ball, but do you want him to have the ball in his hands that much?
No, I don't. We got to have more play from the guards. I got to have more guys. Kobe just didn't seem very comfortable with the ball tonight. Obviously, Amari had some freshman mistakes where he just I didn't play him in the second half. I thought Joe was good with the ball. Josiah did a nice job with the basketball and was downhill and aggressive. And again, Joe's minutes, Larry's minutes off the bench that carry the day. But we've got to do a better job. And he's not been in that situation where he's been a closer. Obviously, we have critical offense usually. I'm not the brightest, but it would involve Robbie. Without Robbie, you have to be different in your closing offense. And Isaiah has the ball in his hands a lot. He's got to, that's a lot of responsibility. I told him, we talk all the time, learn and grow through every experience, as mundane and boring as that sounds. You want guys to learn and grow through every experience. He's got to learn and grow from tonight, and it's so much better to learn and grow from a win than a loss. But down the stretch, he's got to be able to make the right reads, make the right plays, get guys. He made a great play where they doubled him and he hit Kalu in the seam, and then Kalu sprayed it out and Gibb missed a three. But that's great. That's exactly, we wound up with a wide open shot for Gibb. He made the absolute right decision. And what people miss in closing time is, it doesn't have to be for you. We're trying to get you in an advantageous position, but defense will tell you what to do, and you got to make the play, whether it's for yourself or for your teammates. And we always talk about, Jordan's two most, there's a Byron Russell shot, but two of his most famous, finals plays are the pass to Paxson, pass to Kerr, because that was the right play to make, and those guys made the shots. And that's what closing time is. You got to be able to understand and make the right reads, and we got to get better. We'll go back to work on it this week, but this will be great film to have to show our guys, down the stretch. And again, it wasn't just him. We had a really bad turnover on a defensive rebound. We had a bad foul on a switch. We went to, like I said, we tried to run a zone press late to zone, and the guy dribbled 94 feet and laid it in. That's impossible. Until today, I would have said that was impossible. So it's not impossible, but it should be impossible to do that, and it was very possible today. So again, a lot of stuff to clean up, but a lot easier to learn and grow from wins than it is from losses.
Isaiah took a couple, maybe three mid-range jumpers, which more than we've seen all year.
Yeah.
The whole team.
Yeah.
When is that allowed to happen?
When he makes them. No, he got, I don't mind Isaiah shooting them because he can make them. He just got to get separation. He got separation. The three he shot were all, I think, wide open. He made 2 out of 3 or 2 out of 4. He was, if he gets that separation, he can make that shot. I would call that a mastery shot for him, where he can get to the paint and shoot that mid-range pull-up. And when he has that level of separation that he got tonight, that's a good shot for him. I actually thought a couple times late he could have shot a mid-range, and he kept going. And for him, when you're that small and you get in the teeth of defense, it's hard, and because there's hands and arms, and he's 5'10", and those guys are 6'10" with long arms, and he's too deep. So he's got to do a better job of getting both the free throw line. But I was okay with him. I thought all 3 of those were in his wheelhouse, and 2 of the 3 or 2 of the 4 went in. So we'll take it for sure. If anything that you can do a 1 point of possession. That was, 2 for 4 is 1 point of possession.
Do you envision Robbie getting on the floor at a certain point this coming week, or? I
envision Robbie getting on the floor every day every day I wake up. But no, I hope that. So he was, he was able to do some stuff today on the anti-gravity treadmill. So we did some running on that. I don't know how fast it was, but I also don't know how fast he runs normally. So whatever it was, he was on the anti-gravity running. He's got benchmarks he has to hit. And if he can hit those benchmarks, the hope is the North Stars, was the Wichita State game, that he could be ready to go for that game. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. He and the medical staff will do everything they can to make it happen. But we're never going to put a guy out there if he's not ready. That would make no sense. But certainly he knows, and I think he's going to do everything he can to be ready. And if he meets those benchmarks, he'll be ready to go. And he's got to be able to practice by the 20th probably to be able to be ready to go the 22nd. And then if we miss that benchmark, then we'll shoot for the next one. But I know he's going to do everything in his power, and our medical team is great. They'll do everything in their power to make sure he's we give him every chance to try to hit that. But whether it's range of motion or flexion or all these different things that are well beyond my scope of understanding, he's got to be able to meet all those. And it's how fast he can run and cut and do different things, and then eventually it's non-contact, and then it's contact, and then it's no restrictions.
A situational moment right before the under 4, you guys had a stoppage. You had the fight out there for about a 5-minute run, and you didn't sub at the under 4. But the next stoppage, about 20 seconds later, you did pull this up. Any reason you didn't pull the sub off in the under 4 and wait for the next one?
It was a debate as to whether we were going to sub Kobe for Joe, because and the debate was we were putting Joe through because we didn't want to get him switched in the post. Kobe can switch, but Joe was looking much more comfortable out there than Kobe. So staff was, and we were just kind of debating it. So obviously I'm trying to process and filter. Everybody's, has their opinion. So I'm just, trying to process and filter everybody's ZB, Phil, everybody's Rob's, everybody's, and so I just decided on it. I was like, all right, let's give it a whirl because we were up. And it's like, all right, let's close this with defense. And Kobe allowed us to switch a lot, there late. And he nearly came up with a steal there, at half, and then he got the defensive rebound, and but we didn't, obviously had some strange plays, but and not just him, everybody, but Kobe gives us, was one, when he's going, he's one of our best defenders, and he's so big and long that he can switch and guard, not fives, but he can guard anybody 1 through 4, and so that lineup, keeping Swope through, allowed us to switch. We want to switch as much as possible. We want to close with our best defensive group.
So it was just to kind of get through the thought process from the...
Yeah, thought process of like what do we want to do? Do we want, like Joe's been so much more aggressive offensively and getting downhill, and they're pressing us, so having another ball handler that's attacking versus, Kobe wasn't super aggressive offensively, but he's one of our best defenders, so you're basically trading offense for defense at that point. But then you're also putting the ball in Swope's hands to have to make all the decisions. And so it was it took me, I kind of thought about it. Then by the time I decided to go with Kobe, I missed the window to sub him, and then I didn't want to burn a timeout there because I didn't know with press if we couldn't get it in. I didn't want to, we had 2 timeouts. I wanted to save them as long as I could. I obviously never use the full, but I want to have those 2 in my back pocket. I didn't want to call a timeout I had to call a timeout because when we subbed, we didn't understand we took Joe out, and Larry was taking the ball in, and Kellen was, and really it should have been reversed, but so I had to burn a timeout there, which I wasn't thrilled with. But I mean, you got to get it organized, but I didn't want to burn another one.
Anybody else for Coach?
Was it good to get the Blues on tonight?
The Blues for it was good. I'm glad they finally made them. Tate's been the holdup. I would have worn the Blues earlier. They're not a lot of 4Xs out there. So we were waiting on Tate's 4X, and now we got the Blues, so it's in the rotation. Everything's in the rotation. We got 4, and so it was good. It was good to wear the Billiken blue out there finally. Matched up, though, it was nice. Wore our gray jerseys first time. Got the Billiken blue for the, I guess you'd call them sweatshirts. And it was good. It was a good night.
Good.
Yep.
Just early in the game, I know it's a small one play, but Kellen gets a pick and roll with Kalu in the corner, and they run the baseline pick and roll, and he hits him with a pocket pass. Just how big is it for Kellen's development to just those singular plays to watch him run that and hit that pass? Yeah, no, it's. I mean, 2 things there. Kalu getting in the seams, like we're trying to get him in the seams more. Like he needs to roll more. He loves to pop. I don't know why, but he loves popping, loves it. We love him. He told me in the timeout, I was yelling at him, and he's like, I'm just going to roll every time. Then I said, awesome. Do it every time. Don't do anything else. So, but Kellen reading that, hitting the pocket, that's terrific. His growth, Kellen was terrific tonight. Kellen's going to be fantastic, and he's, he's a guy that his energy changes the game. He plays so hard. We talk a lot about, you can be, all great players are not great winners, and all great winners are not great players. And so, like, Kellen's a guy, but the best players are both. They're great winners and great players. And Kellen's just he's got the ability to be both. Like, he's a really talented player, but he's an awesome winner. Like, whatever it takes to win, Kellen Thame's going to do it. If he has to, jump in and there's just nothing, fight through screens, whatever it takes, like he's going to find a way to get his team across the finish line. And so we're really lucky to have him. I thought he's shown a lot of growth in 3 games, and like I tell him, he's just scratching the surface of how good he's going to be. He's literally just scratching the tip of the iceberg for what he could become. He's got a chance to be I don't want to be hyperbolic, but he's got a chance to be a really, really special player here over the next 3 years, and we're really lucky to have him.
Should he have gotten an assist on that one ball that went between the guy's legs?
Well, he did raise his hand like he meant to do that. So so I saw him like raise his hand like that was a intentional play. So it's like it's like when the guy tips the ball in, everybody raises their hand for the defense tips it in their own basket. He took credit. He raised his hand. I don't know if they did or not, but he definitely did not. They should have given him an assist because we needed him. We only had 13 tonight. So. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Have a great night.
Thanks, Coach.